So I walk into Dykes, I go, yeah, I need some maple, I need some walnut, here's the dimensions. He goes, oh, you called in earlier? I said, no, it was my buddy Tyler actually, but I'm picking it up for him. 2x8 should be good. He rides over on the forklift and he goes, all right, he starts picking it up with me to put it in my Nissan Altima. And he looks at me, he goes, buddy, how you plan on doing this? Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tying Gig Builds. Today we're bringing you an update. We replaced our little stock antenna with a nice big hefty antenna to mine more crypto. Builds.
Look at my hands, Mike. Look at those hands. Real quick recap, last video we made an antenna stand where we hooked up an antenna that was gonna be attached to the Helium miner we had. We used a Helium miner to mine cryptocurrency, the Helium coin. And in this video, we're gonna go over an update on how the numbers went, you know, if the antenna increased the range, how much more money we made, and all those types of things. Again, we typically don't make these types of videos. In the future, we do want to make more videos of our business and how we make money and things like that. And so this fits in that niche, and that's why we're continuing to make these types of videos. But we do really like our build videos, and we're going to continue to make DIY tech and woodworking videos, so stay tuned if you like those. But this week, we're going to go back into the business update on this cryptocurrency antenna. So if that's what you like, keep listening. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of the hard numbers that we made, we just want to say again that you should do this at your own risk. It might not be worth it for you, depending on your location. The initial cost of the miner itself is $300 and the antenna is about $65. I think the miners actually just went up to $350, so it's about $400 or so dollars. On top of that, Helium is doing a halving in August, so the amount of coins that are in circulation are gonna be halved, so you would think that you're gonna earn about half of what you're making now. And on top of that, the pre-orders are gonna be coming in around that time, so there's gonna be about double, I would assume, at least double the amount of miners out there, so your spread is also gonna be cut in half in that way. Not to say the Helium coin might not go up in value that much. If it does, it might, you know, discount those things. But it is, do this at your own risk. It might not be worth it for you. A little comparison of what we had before. Before we had the Helium miner attached to the stock antenna, which looks about 6 inches tall. And we put it in the second story of our house, and we put it next to the window. So there's only one, you know, entry point for the antenna radio waves. And it's a small little antenna. So the second part of this is we moved the stock antenna from that second story window to an antenna about 20 feet high or so, with about a 3-foot antenna as compared to the 6-foot antenna, and it's outdoors now. We didn't want to produce this video until we had enough data, and I think we have enough data now. It's been about a month since we had the initial miner with the stock and then replaced it. So we're gonna share our numbers. Take it as you will, because there are some discrepancies, but we'll get into that. Firstly, we had the stock antenna attached to our Helium miner on the second story, you know, in the glass window, and that was from January 24th until February 6th. In that time period, it was averaging about 13.05 Helium coin a day. So it was actually doing fairly well. I mean, that was hitting our $1,000 a month average, which was fairly good, and we were very happy with that. So we thought maybe if we stick the big antenna on, it would do even better. Since that time, that Helium miner was sitting on the window and we put it and attached it directly to the big antenna outdoors, a lot has changed. At that time, Helium went up to about $5 a coin, or $4 a coin, something around there, $4.50 around the time we put it in the big antenna. So it was near its all-time high, or if not setting its all-time high. There was a snowstorm going on, so I don't know if the radio signals are bad, but that was happening. And then the network was also kind of slow for Helium around the time we directly hooked it up to the big antenna. And so when we hooked up the big antenna, we actually lost Helium. It went to about 7.15 a day from the 13.05 we were seeing. So this is a little bit worrisome for us because we were expecting it to go up, and it actually went down. And we weren't sure exactly if it was the network, the snowstorm, the freak accident, if the cable we chose was too long. We used a 5-meter cable, or if the antenna was just defective. We just had no idea. So we reacted to that by saying, you know what, let's just put it back on the stock and see how it does. And if it does better, maybe it's just a defective antenna, we'll order a new one, or get a shorter cable, try different things out. So what we found is when we put that Helium miner back in the window, the stock antenna, it actually went down from 7.15 a day to about 6.96. And that was between a 6-day period between February 9th and February 15th. So that led us to believe, okay, this is probably not the big antenna's fault. There's probably just network slowness, or maybe people in the area moved out, so we're getting less witnesses. A big red flag for us was the day after we switched to this back to the small antenna, February 10th, we had a high of 2 a day, 2 helium coin a day. So that was a big red flag, like, you know, maybe it's not actually the big antenna that's the problem here. So we decided to move that small stock antenna, put that away, and move the miner back to the big antenna between February 15th and today, which is when we're filming, about a week later, February 23rd. This time the network started picking up again. We're averaging about 11.36 helium a day. So we're back around our original numbers with the small stock. It did drop still from the small stock, but I don't think it was due to the big antenna or anything like that. I think it was the network slowness. I spoke with other people I know that own these miners, and they were also seeing it. One's in Atlanta, another one's in Virginia. They were also seeing network slowness on their side. So I think the entire network was just slow for that time period. So what we learned from this is that the network kind of dictates how much helium you're gonna get. It's a very big factor in it, not just, you know, your antenna setup or anything like that. If the network's slow, everything is gonna go down. So you just have to keep that in mind, and every day your numbers are gonna be different. Ours, you know, range from 13 to 6 to 7. One day we had a low at 2, another time we had a high of 29. So it really varies a lot. And I can definitively say that the big antenna did increase our range, because we had a max with the stock antenna of about 20 witnesses we were able to communicate with. With the big antenna, we were communicating with people very far away, you know, a couple more kilometers. We were hitting 26 total, so about 30% increase in witnesses. In total, we've mined about 327 coins in this month time period. We made about $1,100. I can't tell you, you know, when we traded how much, but, you know, we've traded in batches, and the price of helium has gone up and down. But we made $1,100, and we've also have a few helium stashed. I think we have 57 or so left over helium. So we do have probably $150 worth now with the current prices trading at. We're interested to know what's going to happen when the halving happens, when more miners come out, if it's really going to be worth it. But you know, at this point in time, it's definitely worth it, and I suggest doing it if it makes sense for you. Come on.
Builds. Looks like after the adjustments with the network, this new antenna did pull in around 30% or so more witnesses, which then in turn got more crypto mined. So definitely a worthwhile investment.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's exactly 30% increase, because the way that they reward you is not directly on witnesses, it's indirectly, but it is a small percentage. So it is, you know, at maximum 30%, but it, you know, it definitely increased. If you like what you saw today, please like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna have a new Raspberry Pi build coming next week. I think we have some Instagram updates.
We're not stopping building.
No!
We're not stopping building. Builds. Builds.
Mike?
Build. See, we trained him.
Yeah, you just go
build.
Yeah.